Yes, mates. I'm Alex, and thanks for checking out another video. We just hit 5,000 subscribers on the channel, so thank you so much to everybody who subscribed so far. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you're getting something from the videos. As a cheeky little celebration and a way to say thank you, I'm going to do a little competition and give away some drum lessons. I'll give you all the details at the end of the video, but first, I put out a Q&A on Instagram the other week, so I've got some questions that I'm going to answer today. A couple of these also I saved from a previous Q&A that I didn't have time to get around to. So let's start off with our first question. So first up, and let's be honest, I'm terrible at pronouncing people's names, mate, but I'm going to give it a go. So Nej So Shaz has written in and said, "Hey Alex, one of my weaknesses is kick control. How can I improve?" And mate, me too. So I've been working a lot on my bass drum technique again recently to try and really level up. So personally, the way that I think about my bass drum technique is I'll think of patterns in one of three categories. So the first category is just single stroke. So obviously, anytime you're playing a groove and you just play one bass drum by itself, it's a single stroke. So all we want to do is make sure that every note is nice and consistent, and we're really aware of whereabouts in the bar we're trying to place it. Are we playing our bass drum on the 8th note, on the 16th note, etc., and just trying to play with clarity. So anything like this, any of those bass drums are going to fall into that single stroke category. Now, I'm sure most people watching this channel are already pretty confident with that, so we're going to move straight on to the next category. So secondly, I'd be thinking about playing double strokes. So for me personally, I'm straight away using a different technique than when I'm playing single strokes. So I like to use the slide technique, where you slide your foot up the pedals to get those two notes in a row. But some patterns that I find really helpful to work on, some classic patterns, I'm sure loads of you have done this before, but first one is just going to be right, left, kick, kick, so nothing new here. But then what I'd recommend doing is permutating that pattern so that you start on each different part of the bar. So the next one you could play is snare, kick, kick, snare. Then you could start on your bass drum, kick, kick, snare, snare. And then you could start with the first bass drum, so kick, snare, snare, kick. These patterns are really helpful because firstly, you're obviously playing loads of doubles with your bass drum, but secondly, you're playing those double strokes starting in each different position in the bar. So it could be the downbeat, the E, the and the And then what I found really helpful to work on is putting these into a groove. So for example, you could play a 16th note groove with your right stick playing all of the 16ths up on the hats, and then phrase these patterns between your bass drum and snare drum as 30-second notes. So in a groove setting, you get this sort of thing. So personally, I find that by putting these patterns into a groove setting, it keeps my attention for a lot longer. So I'm more focused on the actual phrasing and the way that it sounds, but actually I'm practicing double strokes all the way through. The third category is playing 3 notes or more on the bass drum in a row. So again, I'm using a different technique to play this. I experimented with a few techniques and tried out like the whole Stan Bicknell thing where you keep the slide technique going. And although he is insane at doing that, it definitely works for him. For me, I just couldn't get comfortable with it. So I personally find that just using my toes to play all of the notes until that last note where I drop my leg down works the best for me. So I'm literally just like hovering my foot above the pedal, playing with my toes, drop down for the last note. And this is something that I saw Greb talk about. I think there's also a video somewhere where Thomas Pridgen talks about a similar thing, where he's just like literally blasting loads of notes really quick on his right foot. And this is still a work in progress for me. But again, a couple of grooves that I found really helpful to work on this is, obviously we're playing groups of 3. Groups of 3 work perfectly in triplets. So I'll just play like a triplet groove, shuffle-ish sort of stuff, and then see if I can drop in some groups of 3 on the bass drum. And what I found really helpful was, whilst I was getting used to this, firstly playing my right hand and right foot in unison. That sort of stuff. And then I also made sure to do the same sorts of patterns or the same sorts of phrases on the bass drum, but without my right hand being in unison. So this sort of stuff. And then I feel like if you can do a group of 3, you could probably do a group of 4 or a group of 5. Just keep that same technique going for longer. So that's my personal approach to bass drum technique, just thinking in those 3 different categories: single strokes, double strokes, triple strokes or more. Think about the technique you're going to use, and then honestly, repetition and just trying to make it sound as consistent as possible. So still work in progress for me, but I hope that answers your question. So now to the competition. So it's going to be super simple, mate. I'm going to give away up to 3 hour-long Skype lessons, and they'll be taught on Saturday the 20th of August. So make sure that you're around on that date if you'd like to enter. The way that you can enter is choose anything that I've ever taught on this channel and upload a video of you playing it and tag me up on Instagram with the hashtag DrumHub5K, and I'll go through everybody. It's literally not a competition about how good people are at drums or anything like that, but literally I'll go through everyone who enters. I'll give you a number. If one person enters, you win, mate, you'll get a lesson. 2 people enter, congratulations, you'll get a lesson. 3 people enter, all 3 of you are the winners, mate, you'll get a lesson. More than 3 people enter, I'll give you each a number, and I'll just do a random generator and pick out a winner. I'll announce the winner on Instagram, and yeah, we'll book in some lessons, man. The competition will close on Sunday the 14th of August, and I'll announce the winner on Monday the 15th over on Instagram. I'd rather do it on YouTube, to be honest, because I don't know what's going on with Instagram at the moment. My stories seem to only show to like 40 people. It's mental, but I don't know how to do it on here, so we're going to do it over on Instagram because it's just going to be a little bit easier. But if you'd like a free Skype lesson, hang out for an hour, we'll talk about music, we'll play some drums, then enter the competition, mate. I'm looking forward to teaching you. Have a sick week, my dudes. I'll be looking out for your entries, and I'll catch you in the next lesson.